Issues with Thomas Edison owning some patents over some certain filmmaking equipment, and New York doesn't have what LA does have, an abundance of sunlight. In the early days of Hollywood, you relied on the sun to light your sets. So upon moving to California, he opened Universal Studios. Right hand side, this is our real working fire station 51, and the doors are open, so you get a sneak peek of some of our fire trucks and fire golf carts and fire engines. I personally love firefighters because I love not being. That's what sets that you see on movies look like. They're typically about one story. They don't really have any real backing walls. If you ever see a sitcom and the characters walk upstairs, most times they're walking to nowhere, typically a blank wall right behind them. In that montage, you saw a clip from Ron Howard's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. That filmed here on our lot used over 10 of our sound stages. One was just for hair and makeup. But they also use the soundstage coming up on your left-hand side. Well, first we got some base camp right here. We got some clothing, some wardrobe. But soundstage on your left, soundstage 14, is where they built the top of Mount Crumpet, the Grinch's lair, for that movie. We've had many other films called Soundstage 14 home, including Thoroughly Modern Millie, the movie musical starring Julie Andrews, Evan Almighty, starring Steve Carell, Michael Scott from The Office. They built the top of Noah's Ark in there. We also had this little independent movie directed by an up-and-comer. I like to mention it every 2 weeks. I tend to have a couple fans. It was a movie called Jurassic Park, directed by Steven Spielberg. If anyone's heard of that one, they did a lot of filming on location in Hawaii, but there were some scenes, including the scene where the kids are in the tree and the Brontosaurus sneezes on them. It filmed inside Soundstage 14. We've also had television shows filmed inside Soundstage 14, including Bel Air, which is in its final season right now on Peacock, starring Coco Jones, Jabari Banks, and Ollie Charlton. We've also, where's the outside? Well, folks, we're now rounding the corner to our backlot. This is where we house a lot of our larger exterior sets, including, coming up on your right hand side, our Metropolitan or our Metro sets. These are our cityscape sets, meant to look like any city in the world. You've seen them as New York City in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, starring Macaulay Culkin, or the movie musical Annie. You've seen them as my hometown of Minneapolis, Minnesota, in Jingle All the Way, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the Fast and Furious present Hobbs & Shaw, with London, England. But on your right hand side, there is the emergency sign. That is Christine Tennis Medical. You also might notice some different accoutrement around you from a little movie called Back to the Future. Running a new event this next month called FanFest Nights. So if Back to the Future is a really big deal to you, check out our FanFest Nights, where you can get off the tram and walk around Hill Valley yourself. It's pretty cool. But this is where they filmed Back to the Future 1 and 2. There was also Kingston Falls for the Gremlins movie. It's called Courthouse Square because the currently passing aren't made out of materials they look like they're made out of. Anytime you see brick or stone, it mostly is plywood, plaster, foam, chicken wire, because these buildings are meant to look really great on camera, but they're not meant to be built up to any sort of code. Nobody actually lives in these buildings. Nobody actually works in these buildings. And like something like laying brick is super cost intensive and time intensive. So if you have fake brick, your building still looks beautiful, but you don't have to pay someone.
Sweep you up to the future. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you encounter monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
Whoa, Skull Island.
Alright folks, I would like to remind everyone to remain seated, keeping arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. Hold on tight to yourself and to your belongings. It gets bumpy at Skull Island. If you drop anything while we're inside a building on the studio tour, I am unable to retrieve that item for my safety. So hold on tight, get ready, we're going back to Skull Island. Spooky 3D, how are you feeling? Is everybody leaving with everyone they came with? Just double checking, doing some head counts. It looks like we're all here. That's great. Less paperwork. Alien, Romulus, and Better Man were two of my favorite movies of the last year.
With a project like the studio tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions, there's creatures coming at them, they're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know where the people are looking. They're looking straight ahead, they're looking at the shot that we're working on.
Here you have to take a
location, the afterlife. I've never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
And while Bad Place doesn't sound awesome, Little Europe certainly is. These are our European sets. Some of my favorite things that I've ever filmed here include, if you're a fan of our girls, and the 2011 movie, The Muppets, starring Jason Segel, Amy Adams, Miss Piggy, and Kermit the Frog. How they made Little Europe look more like Paris. They hung a blue screen around the perimeter to be able to edit in the Eiffel Tower in the background. Why do they use a blue screen instead of a green screen? Well, if you use a green screen, Kermit's gonna disappear. It's not easy being green. If you ever watch behind the scenes scenes of movies and you wonder why they use blue or green to edit in or out certain information in movies, it's because blue and green are the only two colors that don't show up in any iteration of the human skin tone. Pretty cool. It's true, but it currently is set up for a movie that Deadline is saying is coming out in early 2027 called San Francisco Treat. It's a relatively unknown cast. I didn't recognize any names, which I love. I love being able to discover new actors. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I love when we get to come inside here because it shows how many different departments. Whoa, hold on. All right, exactly. Classic earthquake, classic Southern California. Okay. Just kidding. I don't know if this is classic though. This might be the big one. Hold on tight. The big one. So I did tell a little bit of a why. That soundstage has been used in Bones and Beverly Hills Cop 3, but it is mostly just a fixture of our studio tour. That's Earthquake, the big one, first added to our studio tour in 1980. I would be freaking out right now if there was somebody in the water. There's someone in the water. Hey, buddy, get out of the water, please. Hey, no worries if not, but could you get out of the water? Get out of the water? Get out of the water. Ooh. Or stay in the water, I guess. But don't worry, folks. Jerry and I know a great place where we can hide right behind this dock. You know what they say, tucking yourself behind tubs and tubs of flammable gasoline. on a movie set, so you have to create it, so that way you're in total control. So to make it rain on a movie set, we have speakers on each of these buildings to give us thunder. Typically you would add thunder in post-production when you edit a film. We have some strobe lighting to give us lightning, a little bit hard to see while the sun is still out. And then of course, what is a thunderstorm without the rain? And to create rain, we only use the most advanced and secretive technology, a little something called the sprinkler system. And that was our flash flood in the movie Big Fat Liar, starring Frankie Muniz, Amanda Bynes, and Paula Giamatti. Great movie to watch after you've taken our tour, as they film all over a lot. There's also, on your left-hand side, we have an entire fleet from the Fast and the Furious movies, including Dominic Toretto's Black Charger, driven by Vin Diesel. And we also have, on your left-hand side, my close personal friend, Bumblebee from Michael Bay's Transformers. Hi, Bumblebee. You're looking great. Are we still on for lunch tomorrow? Call me. Excuse me. That's horribly embarrassing. Oh yeah, that looks like a good one. It's probably just tidying it up a little bit before I take my nap. Oh, my, Norman. What a deep clean you've done there. Well, folks, everyone remain calm. I don't think he's noticed us yet, so we can do my favorite thing, which is Irish goodbye. Oh! Hi, Norman. No? What do you have? A knife? No! That one friend we have to apologize for, and mine just happens to be Norman Bates. Psycho too, if this was my backyard. But welcome, folks, to Steven Spielberg.
The airplane crash site is a perfect example of a set that was all designed around the vision of Steven. When we first began to sit down to talk about war, well, that thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep your eyes on me. Eyes on me. Now, listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Got them closed? Robbie, get in. Get in. Airplane.
And that is a real commercial 747 on your right-hand side, purchased for the production of War of the Worlds. But this set has not just been seen in War of the Worlds. It was in Ariana Grande's Brighter Days music video, an episode of...
Anyway, behind this holiday fantasy of a gold rush frontier town lies a sinister secret. Welcome to the world of no.